release control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me.
We have blood on our faces. And this is sacred blood. Moontime blood.
Yeah, there's been this energy of, for me, I feel like this just connecting to that which feels the most natural, the most fluid in every moment, tuning into what my intuition is pulling me to do, which feels like connecting to the energy of the divine feminine, like allowing myself to flow and trust that each moment that I check in, tune in, I can follow and answer what is being asked of me in that moment.
And the question that my mind starts to wonder is, and how does that flow meet up with the idea of boundaries and desires? And we like to use dance as a metaphor.
For everything.
And so there's the flow of dancing and just moving and being moved. And then coming into a shared dance, there's lead and follow dynamics, and I know my mind can often come in and be like asking all kinds of questions. Who's leading? Who's following? Are you even listening to me? Am I listening to you? Oh shit, I'm sorry, I stepped on your toes.
Mental space.
And it's nice to first just like be clear on who is leading and following. And then there can become this flow that eventually we can surrender into, where it's so fluid. There's like, we're both leading, we're both following together. And so, we've been just applying that to how we interact whenever we are trying to make plans together, trying to move together, and arriving at, say, a disagreement of some kind.
Right. So what is an example? Like, I expressed this feeling that I didn't feel the invitation for you to be leading me. Like, I felt like you were kind of taking me without my full consent of following. So then you said to me, well, where's that boundary come in? Because in dance, in the dance of life, and actually dancing, if I'm feeling a no to go on a certain path in a certain direction, I have everything within my power to pause and to actually physically, energetically, and like in that physical way, pause and express my no so that you can tune in and receive that. So it's like really tuning into the subtle communication that's happening within that space. And so I was feeling as though you weren't hearing my no. And which brought us to that question, or your response, saying, well, I feel that. Can you share what your response was?
Well, my response was something along the lines of like, I feel like you're in your head, and that you're judging the dance rather than just like being a part of the flow. And that, it just like brings up this question of like, for you, do I just keep flowing in this dance, or do I eventually just stop and be like, Harry, can we talk about this?
Yeah.
And so even this morning, like preparing to film this video, we were going in and out of flow, and then also like, oh yeah, we have a goal to accomplish this morning. And so LaVina would share a story about something, and then I would have this thought like, do I just allow the story to happen, or do I express like that I'm having thoughts of like, hey, can we actually like focus on our goal and what we want to accomplish this morning? So it's this question of like, stay in the flow and allow, or like, where's the moment where I say pause?
Yes, and then you're saying the goal, right? So do we have this orientation? This is where the balance comes in. In what I was expressing was a physical dance. I felt like you were leading and like directing in the dance, and I wasn't sure it was fully aligned for me. What you're speaking about is our choices in the flow of our day. You feel like I want to get this, and this done, and there it is again. Like I feel like there's this leading, this taking, right? And neither is right or wrong. They're both subjective to our feeling, like how it feels. How does this feel aligned for me? Does this feel aligned for you? And how can both of our alignments actually meet in the middle?
Well, the beautiful part about being in partnership together and having a partner to dance with and a partner to interact with day to day is someone to illuminate a lack of awareness, someone to illuminate when awareness is not fully there. So just as an
Blind
example,
spots.
like if I just keep doing this dance move where I'm like leading LaVina, eventually she might just be like, are you aware of this? Like, just be aware of it. It's not wrong. It's
Yes.
not a bad dance move, but just like, are you aware that you keep doing this and leading me in this way?
Right.
And so similarly, like this morning, I wonder to myself, is LaVina aware of our direction, our orientation for this morning to accomplish these goals? Is she aware that her story feels like a diversion? And so then I can communicate in a way that's not like, your story's a diversion. I'm not pointing a finger and saying like, you're screwing up our dance and our flow.
You're taking up too much space by talking right now. When we need to get from here to point B, from point A to point B.
Right. Instead, I can speak from this place of like, I'm noticing this. I'm noticing this pattern, this behavior, this action. Are you aware of this? How are you perceiving this?
Yeah.
And then LaVina has a choice to be like, oh yeah, I'm not actually aware of that. Or like, I'm aware, baby. And this story fits in with what we're doing, which is what happened.
That's how we got here.
Yeah.
Because I said, this actually feels really important. So it's like I brought back in the leading. I was like, there is something in benefit for both of us, is what my judgment was. I feel that if I take the lead in this trajectory, if I stand firm in my boundaries, in what feels aligned for me, and offer it here, I believe that you're going to want to meet me here. This is the place for us to meet.
Right. And so sometimes maybe LaVina is going off into a story unaware, and it is valuable for me to be like, hey, can we bring it back? To pause the dance, can we bring it back? And sometimes I can say that, and LaVina's like, actually, Harry, I'm fully aware of what I'm saying right now, and it's fully in line with what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then the onus is on me to be like, oh yeah, why don't I just like trust my partner, can drop my stubbornness, surrender to the flow, and go with it.
Right. And that's exactly what brought us to this video, because we were en route to get into checking off our to-do list, our goals. We have a project that we want to work on and accomplish today. And I requested that we drop in about this. And so that request of mine, that orientation in this direction as an invitation, then led us to recognizing how leading and following can show up in so many places, so many aspects of navigating life in a relationship, in a partnership, in a duet, in a dance.
And this morning, the blood has been a nice reminder, just to see the blood and remember like the flow. Just remember, okay, the flow. Because I'll tend to be like, hey, the goal. I'm like thinking about time. I'm thinking about our goal. I'm thinking about the day moving on. And then like seeing the blood, feeling the blood, and being like, okay, right, just
be with the flow of nature, what is natural. There is balance and harmony innately in nature, right? So like, how can we align ourselves with that feeling of balance and harmony, leading and following, being open to receive and sharing and giving, like finding that where everything is just in the flow, where we have the orientation initially and then trust to ride that wave.
All right. Well, that's a little bit of what we're moving with today.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Happy. Feeling happy.
Yeah. Hope these words land and inspire some great ideas, conversations, dances.
Yeah. And also trust in what is aligned for each individual.
Yeah.
Like that's what brought us here. The more I tune in with myself and the more I witness you tuning into your truth, it actually becomes even more fluid for us to come into that harmonious dance.